What's up, everybody? It's Toxic, and I'm coming at you at like 1 a.m. because I finally have beaten Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, I meant to put gameplay out, but the thing about the way that I put gameplay out on this channel is if it's PC game, I record through OBS or through like Xbox Game Bar or something like that. If it's a PlayStation game, I just upload it directly from PlayStation. I lack the will to live when it comes to editing gaming videos, so I just don't do it. But Bondi wouldn't let me do that. I just couldn't upload the videos for some reason. All that aside, this is not a review. This is just me. I'm going to say a couple things about the game. I don't like it, but we'll get to that in the future. But as far as story goes, this game is a lot like any other CyberConnect 2 game, I guess. Like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja games, this isn't a perfect representation of the story. And actually, there's a couple anachronisms. There's some things that this game fundamentally gets wrong about the Dragon Ball Z story. The first of which, I'm pretty sure you've already seen people talk about, is it says that Piccolo creates an illusion that makes it appear that the moon has been destroyed, rather than actually destroying it, because as we all know, when Gohan was training with Piccolo over the course of that year, waiting for the Saiyans to get there, Gohan sees the full moon, he transforms into an ape, Piccolo destroys the moon, and gets rid of his tail. By the way, the gameplay that you're seeing may or may not line up with what I'm saying, because I had to find this and just throw it on top of the video so that you wouldn't see me in my current state. But, like I said, Piccolo destroys the moon, removes Gohan's tail to prevent him from ever becoming a great ape again. Now, of course, this doesn't work, because when Vegeta gets there after the year is over, he creates a false moon, which gives him the ability to become an ape, and Gohan also becomes an ape. Here's the thing, though. We've seen the moon be destroyed previously by Master Roshi for roughly the same reason that Piccolo destroyed it, and that's to prevent this child from becoming an ape, because it's too dangerous, because they can't control it. At that point in the story, there was no precedent that a Saiyan could learn to control their great ape forms. But after Roshi destroyed the moon, Kami removed Goku's tail definitively and restored the moon, because there's no reason to not have the moon anymore, because the threat of Goku ever becoming an ape again has been eliminated by the fact that he will no longer grow his tail back. Now, for the rest of Z, we don't see the moon appear again, but we do know that it's back by the time Super comes around, because you see it. In Super, like in the Trunks arc, you can see the moon. But that's not to say that at some point Kami couldn't have restored the moon again. It's never featured. Maybe it's possible that after Piccolo fuses with Kami, that he's gained some of those abilities, and he could have restored the moon. We don't know. It doesn't really matter. But the fact of the matter is, Piccolo did actually, definitively, extensively destroy the moon. He didn't create an illusion that makes it seem like he destroyed the moon. I know Dragon Ball has a lot of occasions where people use powers once and never again, maybe twice at the most, like when Goku shouted a shockwave and was able to hold off from some very powerful members of the Ginyu Force, or when Piccolo can just create clothes on Gohan, or when Vegeta can just propel a blast from his body. There's a lot of things like that where characters just do things randomly. Or when Goku looked at the ground and the grave opened up for Vegeta's body. But I don't think Piccolo created an illusion. I'm pretty sure that the moon was actually destroyed. Because if it was an illusion, it wouldn't mean anything. The moon would still be there. It would still have the same effect. Vegeta would have still turned into an ape. He wouldn't have had to create a Power Ball for the purpose of becoming one. Like, that doesn't really make any sense. But, I mean, I guess that's all I really need to say about that. The game is wrong on that front. Moving on, though, continuing the topic about apes, there's a side quest for Oolong where he asks, like, hey, you haven't grown your tail back. I wonder what that is. And it's like, well, I'll go ask Vegeta. Okay. So the game rationalizes that the reason Saiyans don't grow a tail back after a certain point is when a Saiyan becomes stronger than a great ape, they no longer have the need for their tail. Here's the thing about that. I get where they're coming from. Like, if you become stronger in your base form than the great ape form made you the last time you took it on, then you don't grow your tail back. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going for. That also says that a Saiyan, after losing their tail, has an 8% chance of growing it back. Sure, but Gohan and Goku must have gotten really lucky because they're the only Saiyans we've ever seen grow tails back. It tries to explain like why Broly didn't grow his back, Vegeta didn't grow his back, Trunks and Goten never had one, why Bola doesn't seem to have one, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. That's not the problem that I have. The problem that I have is that the Great Ape form is a 10 times power multiplier. So, if Goku, in his Ultra Instinct form, was somehow able to stack that with Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken times 10, however strong that would be, if he were to then go Great Ape, he would be 10 times stronger than that. It's a 10 times multiplier from your current power level. Now, we don't see anybody stack it on top of like Super Saiyan until we get to GT. And at that point, since we know that Super Saiyan is a 50 times multiplier from base, it's pretty reasonable to believe that Vegeta gets 500 times stronger from base form to Golden Great Ape. That's just how that works. A base form is not going to be stronger than your base form multiplied. And again, I get what it means. Like, Vegeta in the Cell arc is stronger than Great Ape Vegeta from the Saiyan arc. That makes sense. But if Vegeta had a tail during the Cell Saga and transformed, he would have been 10 times stronger than that. You can't get stronger than a multiplier. Like, okay, Gohan achieving his unlocked power, that doesn't even really make a whole lot of sense, because I think it's like alluded to or hinted at that if he were to go Super Saiyan from that form, he would lose power. Maybe that's because that's how Mystic Ki works, but like, assuming that this form is an addition to his base, if he were to go Super Saiyan, he would get 50 times stronger than that. So to say that through the progression of the show, that Goku's Super Saiyan form currently being 50 times stronger than his base form, I think I said that wrong. Goku's base form currently is stronger than his Super Saiyan 1 form in the Frieza Saga makes sense. But from this base, if he were to go Super Saiyan 1, would become 50 times stronger. And adversely, if he were to become a Great Ape, he would become 10 times stronger, no matter what his base power level is, regardless. So the phrasing of what they're saying doesn't make any sense. And this new rule about the 8% doesn't make any sense. Because the rule for why Goten, Trunks, and whatever, why they don't have tails is because tails is a recessive gene. They simply were not born with the gene to have tails. Gohan was, Broly was, Vegeta was, Goku was. Vegeta, Goku, and Broly, I don't think they count because I'm pretty sure all full-blooded Saiyans have tails, but when you start getting to half-breeds, that's when it becomes a recessive gene. And the only half-breed we've ever seen with a tail is Gohan. Now, why does Gohan's tail not grow back? I guess that 8% rule is fine, whatever, I don't care. But that is all I had to say about that. I think I've rambled long enough. My last point that I want to talk about. At the start of the Boo arc, after the 7-year time skip, the narrator makes it very clear that 7 years have passed since Cell was defeated. But then they go to say that Gohan is 16. That I really don't agree with. I'm going to bore you with some numbers really quick. Gohan, as we know, is 4 at the very start of Z. When the Saiyan Saga kicks off, he is 4 years old. 1 year passes before Vegeta and Nappa arrive, putting him at 5 years old. A little while goes by, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, before they go to Namek, which puts him at maybe 5.5 to somewhere close to 6. We don't know where between the ages of 4 and 5 he was at the start of Z, but between 5 and 6 is how old that he would be when they go to Namek. When they get back from Namek, a couple of months pass while they try to use the Namekian Dragon Balls, and then a year and a half passes for Goku to get back. So close to 2 years have gone by. Gohan is roughly around 7, probably, I think it's safe to say. Then Trunks comes from the future, tells them that they have 3 years to get prepared for the androids. They train for 3 years. Gohan is 10. He is 10 years old, still isn't a Super Saiyan. So they go into the hyperbolic time chamber for 1 year, putting Gohan at 11 years old. 7 years from then is not 16. Like, I'm sorry to get all, like, ugh, numbers, you gotta be accurate. But Gohan is not 16 in the Buu Saga. He's 18 in the Buu Saga. Goten is 7. Trunks is maybe 7.5. Could be closer to 8. We don't super know. It's not exact. It may have been 7 years exactly. It may have been 7 years in a few months. That doesn't really matter. But the fact of the matter is, Gohan is 18 at least. He's not 16. He couldn't possibly be 16, because let's try to figure this out, right? If he were 16 in the Buu Saga, that would mean he was 9 in the Cell Saga. So you remove 1 year for the hyperbolic time chamber, he's 8. You remove 3 years from the training time before the androids show up, he's 5. You remove 1.5 years plus a couple of months, could be close to 2 years, while they're waiting for Goku to come back, he's 3. You remove 1 year for the training, he's 2. You see how this doesn't work? Gohan has to be 18. Otherwise, you're telling me that when he says, I'm 4 at the beginning of Z, maybe he just doesn't know his numbers and he's actually 2, but he thinks he's 4. But he's very articulate and mobile for a 2-year-old, if that's the case. So, CyberConnect 2, do your homework, because it seems like it would be so easy to get someone like Gohan's age right. They tell you his age. He is 4. I don't know why I'm so worked up about this. I'm sorry if I just wasted all your time. But yeah, throughout the entire game, there's anachronisms. Some events take place in the wrong order. Some events are completely left out. You don't get to play any of the World Tournament fights. You don't get your It's Over 9,000 thing. The whole Android 16 thing doesn't really play out properly. Majin Vegeta doesn't play out properly either. There's a whole lot that doesn't go correctly. But as far as like the 3 biggest, like I said earlier, anachronisms, the biggest things that they get wrong in this story, it is Gohan's age by the time the Buu Saga comes around. It is the reason Saiyan Tails don't come back. And it is Piccolo creating an illusion that he destroyed the moon. Now, as far as a reason as to why Saiyan Tails don't really come back, there isn't a given reason. Like I said earlier, the best thing that I can propose is that when you get stronger than you've ever been as a great ape, the tail just becomes an unnecessary weakness, and the Saiyan body just evolves or adapts to not grow it back because it doesn't need it. I don't know. Maybe because the sacrifice from speed that you would get from becoming a great ape isn't worth the strength that you get. Like Super Saiyan grade 3 for Vegeta, he didn't want to go that far because he would sacrifice speed, so he stuck with grade 2, that kind of thing. But if you found this video educational, leave a like. If you found my voice annoying, leave a dislike. Live your life like a Kamehameha, and I'll see you next time.